Hello and welcome to our October 2021 little box of crochet, which I am super excited about because it's just beautiful. It's designed by our very own Amanda. The colours are just, I've just made that collapse, but the colours are completely glorious. And I have to tell you, it is a Sunday. I'm doing this on a Sunday because I could not wait for do the fingers work. It's not really work, is it? Just couldn't wait to start this one. So I hope you love it. I completely and utterly love it. So shall we crack on and start making our very beautiful hot water bottle cover? Now I've already made the chain because we can all do chains hopefully, and just one thing I wanted to point out in the instructions, it says, I think it says chain 40 and then chain another one on the end. Basically you want to end up with 40 double crochet, so just make sure that you've chained enough to get to that 40 double crochet point. I've also, as the pattern instructor, put a stitch marker. I've just put a little safety pin in the last chain from the hook, the first chain from the hook, so the last sort of chain I've made there, and the very first chain that we made. So those are the end points marked, and I'm now going to make double crochets in every single chain. Now Amanda gives us a tip to say double crochet into the top loop only, because we're actually going to be working around this chain and coming back on ourselves, so we need a loop to work into when we come back the other way. So I'm just going to go into, so the first chain from the hook is this one I've got marked. It's sort of distorted it a bit with that little stitch marker, but you can kind of see, and so I'm just going to go in under that top loop only. So there's only one strand of yarn going over my hook. I normally go under two, but for this we'll go over one, and I am simply going to make double crochet like that all the way along the chain. Okay, so I'll not bore you with that. I'm going to do this all the way along until I get to the last chain before the marker. All right, so I'll do that and see you in a minute. Right, so I'm now making my last double crochet in the last chain before my marked chain, so the penultimate chain, if you will. I always get to say the word penultimate in these videos. I'm very happy about it. Sorry, I should have mentioned we're working in raspberry, but I'm sure you could read that. So sorry about that. Now I've got to this marked stitch, I'm going to take the marker out, or the safety pin in this case, because what we're going to do is we're going to make three double crochet in this chain, still going under the first, the top strand only, because this is going to kind of bring us around the end of the work. So I'm letting it turn, and on that second stitch I'm going to put the marker back in, but I'm going to make all three. So 1, 2, 3, and that has brought me all the way around the end. Can you see it sort of turned the corner a little bit? And I'm going to pop the marker into the middle of those 3 stitches, because we need to keep our eye on that stitch, because that's where we're going to be working the sort of round the corner going forward. Okay, so that's done. And what we're now going to do is turn our work so the underneath of the original chain is on top, and we're going to work all the way back along in the other direction. So I've already got chains coming out of this one, stitches coming out of this chain, so I'm done with that one, and I'm going to move on to the next one and just make a double crochet, working all the way along to the other marked stitch. So I'll do that and I'll see you down that other end. Right, I'm right at the other end, which is where we started off, and I've got one more loop to work into, and then I'm going to put 2 more stitches in this first one where I started, and it is a little bit tricky to see, but you can sort of see the stitch coming out of it there, and I'm going to put 2 more in that same space, just making sure I'm not working through that safety pin. 1 and 2, and I'm going to take this safety pin out now, and just as we did down the other end, I'm going to mark that middle stitch. So the first stitch of the 3 we made going, you know, the first double crochet we made is part of that group of 3, and we've just made 2 more to finish that group of 3. So can you see if I bring it up like that? We've got 1, 2 and 3, and my little green, gosh, I can never remember the word, safety pin, I'll write that down. That's going to go into that middle stitch and mark it. And I am going to finish the round by putting a slip stitch into the top of that very first double crochet we made and fastening off, and then I'll show you what we look like so far. Right, so what we've got so far, let's move that out of the way, is a nice lump there. I don't know what went wrong there. We've got our original chain, which goes through the middle of this piece here, and we've worked all the way down the top of it, and then we've come round the corner with our 3 stitches at this edge, and we've worked all the way along the other side, and we've got 3 stitches in this edge too. So we've got all our stitches, all our single stitches each side of the chain, plus 3 in each end. All right, so we're now at the end of step 2, and we're going to move on to step 3.